Welcome, peaceful wanderer, to this gentle journey through ancient wisdom that has comforted minds for over 2,000 years. Tonight, as the world grows quiet around you and your thoughts begin to settle, we'll explore the timeless teachings of the Stoic philosophers, men who faced the same human struggles we encounter today, yet discovered profound peace through understanding what truly matters. Stoicism began in ancient Greece, around 300 BCE, founded by Zeno of Citium, who taught in the painted portico, the Stoa, that gave the philosophy its name. But this isn't merely ancient history gathering dust in forgotten libraries. These teachings have guided emperors and slaves, generals and prisoners, through humanity's darkest hours and brightest triumphs. Tonight, they can guide you toward rest. At its heart, Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. It shows us that peace comes not from changing the world to match our wishes, but from accepting reality while focusing our energy on what lies within our power, our thoughts, our choices, our responses to life's inevitable challenges. The Stoics we'll meet tonight lived remarkable lives. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire while writing intimate reflections to himself about virtue and mortality. Seneca advised emperors and accumulated vast wealth, yet wrote beautifully about the emptiness of material possessions. Epictetus, born a slave, became one of history's greatest teachers of inner freedom. Their diverse experiences united around a single truth, that peace and strength come from within. As we journey together through their wisdom, let yourself relax completely. There's nothing to memorize, no test to pass. Simply allow these ancient voices to wash over you like gentle waves, carrying away the day's tensions and worries. Let their insights about courage, acceptance, and contentment settle into your mind as naturally as sleep itself approaches. The room grows quieter now. Your breathing slows, and somewhere in the gentle darkness, the wisdom of ages past reaches across time to offer you the same peace it has brought to countless souls before you. Let us begin this timeless journey together. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Inner Peace: What We Can and Cannot Control. As you settle deeper into comfort, imagine the great Epictetus, lame from childhood, once a slave in the household of Nero's secretary, yet destined to become one of history's most profound teachers of human freedom. His words echo across the centuries, with the authority of someone who found liberty in the most constrained circumstances. Some things are within our power, while others are not. This simple statement contains the entire foundation of Stoic wisdom. As your mind begins to quiet and your body relaxes, consider how much of our daily suffering comes from trying to control what lies beyond our reach. Other people's opinions, the weather, the past, the future, the inevitable changes that life brings. Epictetus continues, "Within our power are our opinion, our motivation, our desire, our aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, our reputation, our position, and, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing." Let these words sink into your consciousness like warmth spreading through tired muscles. Your heartbeat, your height, your past mistakes, the thoughts others think about you, all beyond your control. But your response to this moment, your choice to find peace right now, your decision to let go of what you cannot change, this remains entirely within your power. Marcus Aurelius, writing by candlelight in his tent along the Danube frontier, understood this truth as he governed an empire yet couldn't control its ultimate fate. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Picture the emperor in his private moments, perhaps as tired as you are now, reminding himself that strength comes not from commanding legions, but from commanding his own thoughts. The barbarians at the border, the plague ravaging his cities, the betrayals of trusted friends, all outside his ultimate control. But his response, his character, his inner peace, these belong to him alone. As the night deepens around you, practice this fundamental Stoic exercise. Notice any tensions in your body, any worries cycling through your mind. Ask yourself gently, is this within my control or not? Your work presentation tomorrow, you cannot control how others will receive it, but you can control your preparation and attitude. Your relationship challenges, you cannot control another's heart, but you can control your own words and actions. Seneca, the wealthy philosopher who advised emperors, yet wrote his deepest truths in letters to a friend, offers this comfort. Today I escaped anxiety. Or no, I discarded it, because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. Feel the relief in these words. Anxiety isn't something that happens to you like rain or wind. It's something you can choose to set down, like placing a heavy burden beside the path. The future remains uncertain, but your peace in this moment belongs to you completely. Epictetus, who understood the difference between external slavery and inner freedom better than anyone, reminds us, wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants. As you drift deeper into rest, consider this paradox. The slave who wants nothing is freer than the emperor who desires everything. Tonight, you need nothing more than this moment, this breath, this gentle movement towards sleep. In wanting nothing more than what is, you possess everything necessary for peace. The ancient Stoics discovered that fighting reality is the source of all our suffering, while accepting what is, without becoming passive, is the beginning of true strength. Marcus Aurelius whispers across time, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate associates you. Your day is ending. The struggles and victories alike are settling into memory. Tomorrow will bring its own mixture of joy and challenge, all of it beyond your complete control. But your response to whatever comes, your choice to meet life with courage and wisdom, this remains your eternal freedom. Let this truth cradle you now as you move towards sleep, knowing that the most important power in the universe, the power to choose your inner state, rests completely in your hands. Chapter 2. The virtue of acceptance, embracing life's natural flow. The Stoics understood something profound about the nature of existence, that resistance to life's natural flow creates suffering, while acceptance opens the door to peace. As you sink deeper into comfort, let this ancient wisdom guide your thoughts like a gentle river, carrying you toward rest. Marcus Aurelius, despite commanding the mightiest empire in history, wrote these humble words in his private journal. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Imagine the emperor in his private study, candlelight flickering across papyrus as he reminds himself that even Rome itself is temporary. Everything changes, seasons turn, empires rise and fall, our own bodies age and transform. The Stoics saw this not as tragedy, but as the natural order of existence, beautiful in its constant motion. Seneca, watching the sunset over his villa gardens, understood this flow intimately. Every change of fortune is either a punishment or a blessing, but either way, it's harmless, for we either suffer or we rejoice, and neither suffering nor joy can last forever. Let these words wash over you like gentle waves. The difficulties you face today, they too are part of life's natural rhythm. The ancient philosophers discovered that when we stop fighting the current and learn to float with it, we find a peace that no external circumstance can disturb. Epictetus, who knew suffering intimately yet found profound freedom, teaches us, don't demand that things happen as you wish. Instead, wish that they happen as they do, and you will do well. This isn't passive resignation, but active acceptance. The difference between being dragged by a river and choosing to swim with its current. As your breathing slows and your muscles relax, practice this gentle surrender. Your day unfolded exactly as it did. Your loved ones behaved exactly as they chose. Your challenges presented themselves in precisely the way they occurred. Fighting these realities is like trying to dam a river with your bare hands, exhausting and ultimately futile. But accepting them, learning from them, finding meaning within them, this is the path to peace that the Stoics discovered through centuries of practice. Marcus Aurelius offers this beautiful image. Adapt yourself to the life you've been given, but love the people with whom you share it. Picture life as a vast tapestry being woven by forces beyond any individual's control. You cannot dictate the pattern or choose all the colors, but you can contribute your own thread with love, wisdom, and grace. Your responses to life's events become part of this eternal weaving, adding beauty to the whole. The ancient philosophers noticed that nature never hurries, yet accomplishes everything perfectly. Seasons change when they're ready. Flowers bloom in their time. Rivers flow around obstacles rather than trying to demolish them. As you prepare for sleep, consider following nature's example. Seneca, who lived through political upheaval and personal loss, found this profound truth. Life is like a play. It's not the length, but the excellence of the acting that matters. Your role in life's drama wasn't entirely chosen by you. Perhaps you're playing a different part than you expected. But the Stoics discovered that any role can be played with virtue, courage, and dignity. The slave can demonstrate nobility. The emperor can show humility. The suffering person can model grace. As the night deepens, practice the Stoic art of accepting your current scene while playing your part with excellence. Tomorrow's script remains unwritten, but tonight you can rest knowing that whatever comes, you have the tools to respond with wisdom. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is perhaps the most liberating truth in all of philosophy. You cannot control the events that unfold around you, but your response, your thoughts, your attitude, your choices, remains entirely your own. In this response lies all your freedom and all your power. The Stoics learned to see obstacles not as punishments, but as opportunities to practice virtue. Difficulties become chances to develop courage. Conflicts become opportunities to practice patience. Losses become invitations to practice acceptance. As sleep approaches, carry this gentle wisdom. Life is not happening to you, but with you. You are not a victim of circumstances, but a partner in an ancient dance that began long before you arrived and will continue long after you depart. Your steps in this dance, graceful or clumsy, joyful or sorrowful, contribute to something larger than yourself. Let this acceptance cradle you now, knowing that tomorrow will bring exactly what it brings, and you will meet it with the wisdom of ages flowing through your response. Chapter 3. The Practice of Present Moment Awareness. In the quiet of this evening, as your thoughts begin to settle like leaves falling gently to the ground, we turn to one of Stoicism's most practical teachings, the art of living fully in this moment. The ancient philosophers discovered that peace exists only in the present, not in memories of yesterday or anxieties about tomorrow, but in the simple awareness of what is happening right now. Marcus Aurelius, despite bearing the weight of an empire, wrote these words that still whisper wisdom across the centuries. Confine yourself to the present. Imagine the emperor, surrounded by advisors and urgent dispatches, yet finding moments of profound presence. In his tent on the battlefield, in his study overlooking the Tiber, in quiet moments between the endless demands of power. He practiced returning his attention to the immediate moment, finding in it all the peace he needed. The Stoics understood that our minds naturally wander into past regrets and future worries, but they discovered that actual life happens only in the present moment. This breath you're taking now, the softness beneath your body, the gentle darkness surrounding you, this is where peace lives. Seneca, writing to his friend Lucilius, offered this gentle insight. True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future. As you settle deeper into rest, notice how this moment lacks nothing. You don't need to solve tomorrow's problems tonight. You don't need to correct yesterday's mistakes right now. This moment, with its simple gift of breath and rest, is complete in itself. Epictetus, who understood suffering yet found freedom, teaches us we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. But tonight, practice listening not just to others, but to this moment itself. Listen to the subtle sounds around you, perhaps the whisper of air through a vent, the distant hum of the world settling into rest, the quiet rhythm of your own heartbeat. These simple sounds anchor you in the present, where all wisdom and peace reside. The ancient Stoics discovered that anxiety lives only in thoughts about the future, while regret exists only in thoughts about the past. But in this immediate moment, right here, right now, there is only the simple experience of being alive, breathing, and moving gently toward rest. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work, as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? But tonight, the reverse applies. As you prepare for sleep, tell yourself, I have completed another day of being human. I have breathed, chosen, responded, and learned. Now I can rest, knowing I've done what this day required of me. The Stoics practiced viewing each day as complete in itself, not just a stepping stone to some future goal, but a full experience of being alive. Today you witnessed sunrise, made decisions, felt emotions, interacted with others, and now you're experiencing the peaceful transition into rest. This daily cycle contains the entire universe in miniature. Seneca offers this beautiful perspective. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. As this day ends and prepares to become memory, a new day already waits in the future. But for now, you exist in the sacred space between, the present moment where endings and beginnings meet. Here, in this eternal now, you need nothing more than what you already have. Epictetus, the former slave who became free through philosophy, discovered, no one can hurt you without your permission. This moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this gentle movement toward sleep, belongs entirely to you. No past mistake can touch it. No future worry can diminish it. It exists outside of time, in the eternal present where peace lives. The ancient philosophers learned to find richness in the simplest moments. Marcus Aurelius could find wonder in watching bread bake, noticing how the cracks that form during baking actually make the loaf more beautiful. Tonight, find similar wonder in the simple miracle of consciousness settling into rest. As your awareness narrows to just this moment, this breath, this gentle letting go, you're practicing the same present moment awareness that brought peace to emperors and slaves, philosophers, and ordinary people across more than 2,000 years. The Stoics discovered that this moment is not a place you're passing through on your way to somewhere else. It's your destination. It's where life happens, where peace lives, where wisdom dwells. And tonight, it's where rest and restoration await. Let this ancient understanding cradle you now. The present moment is not just enough, it's everything. In learning to rest fully here, you master one of life's most essential skills. Chapter 4. The Discipline of Desire. Finding contentment in what is. As the gentle darkness deepens around you and your body settles into perfect rest, we explore one of Stoicism's most transformative teachings, the discipline of desire. The ancient philosophers discovered that suffering comes not from what we lack, but from wanting what we cannot have. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, let this wisdom guide you toward a contentment that no external circumstance can disturb. Epictetus, who owned nothing yet possessed everything essential, taught, "Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants." Picture the former slave in his simple dwelling, owning perhaps a cloak, a bowl, and a few scrolls, yet radiating a peace that eluded emperors with their golden palaces. He discovered that freedom comes not from having everything you want, but from wanting what you have. As your breathing slows and your mind quiets, consider the profound wisdom in this paradox. Right now, in this moment, you have everything necessary for peace: breath flowing freely, a place to rest, the miraculous capacity for consciousness itself. These simple gifts, often overlooked in our endless pursuit of more, contain all the ingredients for genuine happiness. Marcus Aurelius, despite commanding limitless wealth and power, wrote these words in his private journal: "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Imagine the emperor in his study, surrounded by treasures from across the empire, yet finding his deepest contentment not in golden objects, but in simple thoughts of gratitude and acceptance. He understood that happiness is not a possession to be acquired, but a perspective to be cultivated. The Stoics noticed something remarkable about human desire. It operates like quicksand. The more you struggle to satisfy it through external means, the deeper you sink. One desire fulfilled immediately gives birth to another. The promotion you wanted becomes the foundation for wanting the next level. The relationship you sought becomes the platform for wanting it to be different. Seneca, who accumulated vast riches yet wrote beautifully about their limitations, observed, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." As you settle deeper into rest, practice this gentle exercise the Stoics used daily. Inventory your actual needs in this moment. Your body needs oxygen, and it's flowing freely. Your body needs rest, and it's available now. Your consciousness needs peace, and it dwells within your power to choose it. Everything else, all the goals, achievements, and acquisitions that seemed so urgent today, exist in the realm of wants, not needs. The ancient philosophers learned to distinguish clearly between these two categories, finding in this distinction the key to unshakable contentment. Epictetus offers this liberating insight. Don't seek to have events happen as you want them as they happen, and you will do well. This isn't passive resignation, but active acceptance, a fundamental shift from trying to bend reality to match your desires to aligning your desires with reality. The Stoics discovered that this alignment brings immediate peace, while fighting reality brings endless struggle. Picture a river flowing around a large boulder. The water doesn't become frustrated that the boulder blocks its path. It simply flows around, finding its way with perfect grace. The Stoics learned to emulate water, adapting to obstacles rather than demanding they move. Marcus Aurelius reminds us how much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself. Tonight, practice this inward focus. Instead of thinking about what others have that you lack or what you might achieve tomorrow, or what you wish were different about today. Simply rest in what is. Your consciousness, your breath, your capacity for peace. These are treasures that require no external validation or acquisition. The ancient philosophers discovered that contentment is not a destination, but a practice. Like a muscle that grows stronger with exercise, your ability to find satisfaction in the present moment develops through daily cultivation. Each time you choose gratitude over complaint, acceptance over resistance, you strengthen this inner capacity. Seneca writes, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay, but the greatest remedy for want is presence, returning attention to what is actually here rather than what is absent." As sleep approaches, the Stoics offer one final gift: the understanding that this moment, exactly as it is, contains everything necessary for peace. Not the moment you imagine might come tomorrow, not the one you wish had occurred yesterday, but this one, imperfect, simple, real. Your breathing slows, your muscles soften, your desires quiet into the gentle acceptance that comes with understanding that wanting less is not about having less, but about recognizing the abundance that was always here, waiting for your recognition. Tonight, rest in this ancient wisdom. True wealth lies not in your possessions, but in your capacity to be content with what is. And in this very moment, that wealth is yours completely. Chapter 5. The Virtue of Courage. Facing life's challenges with strength. In the stillness of this peaceful evening, as your body releases the day's tensions and your mind begins its gentle journey toward rest, we turn to the Stoic understanding of courage, not the loud bravery of battlefields, but the quiet strength that carries us through ordinary difficulties with grace and dignity. Marcus Aurelius, who faced plagues, wars, and betrayals while ruling the Roman Empire, discovered that true courage often appears in life's smallest moments. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Picture the emperor, perhaps as tired as you are now, reminding himself that strength comes not from controlling external circumstances, but from governing his own responses. The barbarians at the gates, the senator's schemes, the endless demands of power, all beyond his ultimate control. But his choice to meet each challenge with virtue rather than vice, with wisdom rather than folly, this remained entirely within his power. As you settle deeper into comfort, consider the Stoic teaching that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act rightly despite fear, the trembling hand that still reaches out to help, the anxious heart that still chooses kindness, the tired mind that still seeks truth. These small acts of daily courage build the character that can withstand life's greatest storms. Seneca, who survived exile and political upheaval, offers this gentle strength. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The challenges you face today, the disappointments and setbacks, even the fears that may still whisper in the corners of your mind, all of these are temporary. What remains is your choice to meet tomorrow with courage, regardless of what it brings. Epictetus, born into slavery, yet ultimately freer than his masters, understood courage from a unique perspective. Difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Your struggles don't reveal weakness. They reveal the strength you didn't know you possessed. The very fact that you've made it through this day, with all its challenges, demonstrates a courage that the ancient Stoics would recognize and honor. The Stoic philosophers discovered that we often misunderstand the nature of courage. We imagine it as the dramatic heroism of legends and movies, but true courage appears in countless small moments. Choosing honesty when lies would be easier, extending patience when irritation feels justified, persisting with kindness when others respond with hostility. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. This is perhaps the highest form of courage, responding to meanness with generosity, to anger with calm, to hatred with love. It requires more strength to remain true to your values when tested than to simply react with equivalent force. As the night deepens around you, think of courage not as something you either possess or lack, but as a skill you develop through practice. Each time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you strengthen this inner capacity. Each moment you face discomfort without running away, you build resilience that will serve you for life. The Stoics taught that courage has four aspects: the courage to act when action is needed, the courage to endure when endurance is required, the courage to speak truth when silence would be safer, and the courage to remain silent when words would cause harm. Tonight, you can practice the courage of rest, the brave choice to let go of the day's burdens and trust that tomorrow will provide whatever strength it requires. Seneca writes, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." The anticipation of challenge often proves harder than the challenge itself. The worries that keep us awake are frequently worse than the realities they imagine. Courage begins with the simple decision to face what comes, rather than exhausting ourselves fighting shadows. Epictetus, who understood adversity intimately, teaches, "Circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself." Your difficulties are not punishments, but opportunities. Chances to discover strength you didn't know you had, to practice virtues that can only be developed under pressure, to become the person you're meant to be. The ancient Stoics noticed that nature provides perfect examples of quiet courage. Trees bend in storms but don't break. Rivers flow around obstacles without complaint. Seasons change when they must, neither hurrying nor delaying. You too can develop this natural courage, the strength to bend without breaking, to flow around what cannot be moved, to change when change is necessary, while remaining true to your essential nature. Marcus Aurelius offers this beautiful image. A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. Your challenges, your setbacks, even your fears can become fuel for inner strength if you choose to see them that way. What seemed like obstacles can transform into stepping stones when met with stoic courage. As you prepare for sleep, practice this ancient understanding. Courage is not about feeling fearless, but about acting rightly despite fear. It's not about having no problems, but about facing problems with dignity. It's not about controlling outcomes, but about controlling your response to outcomes. Tonight, rest in the knowledge that you possess all the courage you need. It may not feel like the heroic bravery of stories, but it's the real courage of daily life. The strength to wake tomorrow and choose virtue again, regardless of what challenges await. Let this quiet courage cradle you now, as you drift towards sleep, knowing that whatever tomorrow brings, you have the ancient wisdom of the Stoics to guide your response with strength, dignity, and grace. Chapter 6. The Wisdom of Impermanence, Embracing Life's Temporary Nature. As you rest in this gentle moment between day and night, between consciousness and sleep, the ancient Stoics invite you to contemplate one of their most profound teachings, the temporary nature of all things. Far from being morbid or frightening, this wisdom becomes a source of deep peace when truly understood. Marcus Aurelius, watching the endless succession of days from his imperial throne, wrote, "Time is like a river of passing events, and its current is swift. No sooner does anything appear than it has swept by, and another comes in its place, and that too will be swept away." Picture the emperor at dawn, watching the sun rise over Rome, knowing he was witnessing something that had happened thousands of times before, and would happen thousands of times after his own life had ended. In this perspective, he found not sadness, but profound peace, the relief that comes from understanding our place in the vast flow of existence. Your difficult day, your current worries, your physical discomfort, even your deepest sorrows, all of these are temporary travelers in the river of time. The Stoics learned to find comfort in this truth rather than despair. What seems overwhelming today will join the countless experiences that have already faded into memory. Seneca, who lived through the reigns of 5 emperors and witnessed the rise and fall of countless fortunes, offers this gentle wisdom. What is grief but an opinion? Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. As your breathing slows and your muscles relax, consider how this very day that is ending was once a future day you anticipated, perhaps with anxiety or excitement. Now it's becoming part of your past, joining all the other days that once seemed so important, but have settled into the quiet archives of memory. The Stoics discovered that accepting impermanence doesn't diminish life's beauty, it intensifies it. A flower is more precious because it blooms briefly. A sunset moves us because it lasts only minutes. Your loved ones become more dear when you remember that your time together is limited and sacred. Epictetus, who understood loss from his earliest years, teaches, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." The joys you've experienced remain real even after they've passed. The love you've felt continues to live in your heart, even when its objects are gone. The beautiful moments you've witnessed become permanent parts of your inner landscape, untouchable by time. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. The autumn leaves don't mourn their falling. They participate in nature's eternal cycle of renewal. Your own changes, losses, and endings can be met with the same natural acceptance, seeing them as part of life's larger pattern rather than personal tragedies. As the night deepens around you, practice this Stoic meditation. Imagine yourself from the perspective of the stars, whose light began its journey to Earth before human civilization existed. From this cosmic viewpoint, your daily concerns reveal themselves as temporary ripples on an infinite ocean. This doesn't make them meaningless, it makes them part of something much larger than yourself. The ancient philosophers understood that fear of impermanence causes much of our suffering. We cling to moments we want to preserve, resist changes we don't want to face, and exhaust ourselves trying to make permanent what is naturally temporary. But accepting impermanence brings immediate relief, the peace of flowing with life rather than fighting against it. Seneca writes, "The willing, destiny guides them. The unwilling, destiny drags them." You can be dragged through the changes that life brings, or you can learn to dance with them. The outcome may be the same, but the experience transforms completely when you stop resisting and start accepting. Tonight, as you prepare to let go of consciousness itself in the temporary death called sleep, practice the Stoic art of grateful release. Thank this day for its gifts, even the difficult ones, which taught you something about your own strength and resilience. Release your grip on outcomes you cannot control. Trust that tomorrow will bring exactly what it needs to bring. The Stoics discovered that impermanence is not life's flaw, but its greatest mercy. Without it, growth would be impossible. Learning would cease. Healing could never occur. The temporary nature of suffering makes it bearable. The temporary nature of joy makes it precious. The temporary nature of life itself makes every moment sacred. Marcus Aurelius offers this final comfort. What we do now echoes in eternity. While your individual life is temporary, the love you share, the kindness you offer, the wisdom you develop ripples forward through time in ways you'll never fully know. Your temporary existence creates permanent effects in the eternal fabric of human experience. As sleep approaches, Carry this ancient understanding. Impermanence is not your enemy, but your teacher, showing you what truly matters by revealing what cannot last. In accepting the temporary nature of all things, you find the peace that transcends time itself. Let this wisdom cradle you now as you join the eternal rhythm of rest and renewal, knowing that in releasing this day, you make space for tomorrow's possibilities. Chapter 7. The Practice of Gratitude. Finding abundance in what is. In this quiet sanctuary of approaching sleep, as the world settles into peaceful rest around you, we turn to one of Stoicism's most transformative practices, the cultivation of gratitude. The ancient philosophers discovered that abundance is not about having more, but about recognizing the wealth that already surrounds us in each moment. Marcus Aurelius, despite bearing the enormous burdens of empire, began each day by writing gratitude in his personal journal. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly, but I won't be surprised or disturbed, for I can't imagine a world without such people." Even this seemingly negative reflection contains profound gratitude, appreciation for the opportunity to practice virtue, for the chance to be the kind of person who responds to difficulty with grace rather than reaction. The emperor understood that even challenging people were gifts, offering him chances to develop patience, kindness, and wisdom. As your body settles deeper into comfort, and your mind begins its gentle drift toward rest, practice this ancient art of finding gifts in the most ordinary moments. The breath flowing effortlessly through your lungs, the heart beating steadily without any conscious effort on your part, the miraculous complexity of your body maintaining itself while you simply rest and receive. Seneca, writing to his friend Lucilius, captures this spirit beautifully. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. The Stoics discovered that life feels abundant when we pay attention to what we're actually receiving in each moment, rather than focusing on what we lack or what we fear losing. Right now, in this very instant, you are surrounded by countless gifts that require no earning, no payment, no special qualification. The gentle darkness that allows rest, the safety that permits vulnerability, the consciousness that experiences all of this, and the wisdom that recognizes its value. Epictetus, who owned virtually nothing yet possessed profound contentment, teaches, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." Gratitude is not merely a mental exercise, but a way of being, a choice to notice abundance rather than scarcity, to focus on what's working rather than what's broken, to appreciate what's present rather than mourning what's absent. The Stoics practiced daily gratitude not as naive optimism, but as spiritual discipline. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to find something worthy of appreciation in every person he encountered, every situation he faced, every moment he experienced. This wasn't because everything was pleasant, but because everything was an opportunity to practice virtue. As the night deepens, consider this profound truth. Every experience you've had today, whether comfortable or difficult, has contributed to the person you're becoming. The challenges developed your resilience. The kindness you received reminded you of love's reality. Even the frustrations and disappointments served as teachers, showing you what matters most and what you can safely release. Marcus Aurelius writes, "Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and round it the seething waters are laid to rest." Tonight, practice being grateful, not just for calm seas, but for your capacity to remain steady during storms. Your strength, developed through past difficulties, is a gift that no external circumstance can take away. The ancient philosophers discovered that gratitude transforms not just our experience of the present, but our memory of the past and our anticipation of the future. When you remember today through the lens of appreciation, even difficult moments reveal their hidden gifts. When you approach tomorrow with gratitude for whatever it might bring, anxiety transforms into curious anticipation. Seneca offers this beautiful perspective. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This very moment, with its perfect combination of rest, safety, and consciousness, is complete in itself. It needs nothing added to be worthy of appreciation. The Stoics practiced evening gratitude as a form of gentle review, not to judge the day, but to harvest its gifts. What kindness did you witness? What beauty caught your attention? What strength did you discover in yourself? What love did you give or receive? These treasures remain yours forever, untouchable by changing circumstances. Epictetus reminds us, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." As you prepare for sleep, practice this gentle inventory of abundance, your functioning senses that brought you today's experiences, your capacity for learning that grows with each encounter, your ability to love, which increases rather than diminishes when shared, your consciousness itself, the most mysterious and precious gift in the known universe. The Stoics understood that gratitude is not dependent on circumstances, but creates them. When you appreciate what you have, you automatically have more to appreciate. When you focus on abundance, abundance expands. When you recognize gifts, more gifts become visible. Tonight, let this ancient wisdom guide you toward rest. Gratitude is not about denying difficulty, but about maintaining perspective. Like a candle that loses nothing by lighting other candles, your appreciation for what is creates more light in the world while diminishing nothing. Marcus Aurelius whispers across time, "Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them." As you drift towards sleep, carry this cosmic perspective. You are part of an unimaginably vast and beautiful universe, and your very existence is cause for wonder. Rest now, in profound gratitude for this day's completion, this moment's peace, and tomorrow's possibilities. Chapter 8. The Discipline of Justice. Living in harmony with others. As the gentle rhythm of your breathing slows and your consciousness prepares for its nightly journey inward, we explore the Stoic virtue that connects us most deeply to our fellow human beings: justice. But this is not the justice of courtrooms and laws. It's the deeper justice of living in harmony with our fundamental nature as social creatures. Marcus Aurelius, who bore responsibility for millions of citizens across the Roman Empire, understood that true leadership begins with serving others. What brings no benefit to the hive can bring no benefit to the bee. Picture the philosopher-emperor in his study, making decisions that would affect countless lives, always asking not, "What serves my interests?" but "What serves the common good?" Even as you rest tonight, you remain part of the human hive, contributing to the collective well-being through your thoughts, choices, and actions. The Stoics discovered that humans are naturally social beings. We flourish not in isolation, but in connection with others. Your individual peace and the peace of your community are not separate goals, but aspects of the same harmony. As you settle deeper into rest, consider how your personal practices of virtue ripple outward, touching lives in ways you may never fully realize. Seneca, despite his vast wealth and political influence, wrote beautifully about our fundamental equality. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The person who served your coffee this morning, the driver who let you merge in traffic, the family member who listened to your concerns, all are fellow travelers on the same journey, deserving the same compassion you hope to receive. Epictetus, who experienced both slavery and freedom, understood justice from a unique perspective. Treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend to them all the care, kindness, and understanding you can muster, and do it with no thought of any reward. As the night deepens around you, reflect on this profound truth. Every person you encountered today is fighting battles you know nothing about, carrying hopes and fears as real as your own, trying to find meaning and peace just as you are. The Stoic practice of justice begins with remembering this shared humanity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. But beyond avoiding harm, true justice actively seeks the good of others. When someone cuts you off in traffic, justice responds with understanding rather than anger. When a colleague takes credit for your work, justice continues doing good work, regardless of recognition. The ancient philosophers understood that justice is not about keeping score or ensuring perfect fairness. Life itself is not fair in any conventional sense. Some are born into comfort, others into hardship. Some enjoy health while others struggle with illness. Justice accepts these realities while working to ease suffering wherever possible. Seneca offers this gentle wisdom. A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver or doer. Your smile to a stranger, your patience with difficult people, your choice to listen rather than judge. These small acts of justice may seem insignificant, but they contribute to the web of kindness that holds civilization together. As your body relaxes completely and your mind drifts toward rest, practice this Stoic understanding. Justice is not something you achieve once, but something you practice daily. Every interaction is an opportunity to choose understanding over judgment, generosity over selfishness, peace over conflict. The Stoics noticed that practicing justice toward others inevitably creates inner peace. When you respond to aggression with calm, to rudeness with kindness, to hatred with love, you strengthen your own character while contributing to the world's healing. Marcus Aurelius writes, "Whenever you want to cheer yourself, consider the good qualities of your companions." Tonight, instead of reviewing the day's frustrations or tomorrow's concerns, practice this ancient exercise. Recall moments when someone showed you kindness, patience, or understanding. Remember the teacher who believed in you, the friend who listened without judgment, the stranger who offered help when you needed it. Feel your heart soften with gratitude for the justice you've received. Epictetus teaches, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. The highest form of justice is not arguing for fairness but being fair, not demanding kindness but offering it, not waiting for others to change but modeling the change you wish to see. The ancient Stoics discovered that we are all part of one vast organism. What hurts one part affects the whole, and what heals one part strengthens everything. Your personal peace contributes to global peace. Your individual justice adds to the sum of justice in the world. Your private practice of virtue has public consequences you may never witness, but that ripple forward through time. As sleep approaches, carry this understanding. Justice is not a burden, but a gift. The opportunity to participate in something larger than yourself, to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem, to leave the world slightly better than you found it simply by choosing virtue in your daily responses. Marcus Aurelius offers this final thought. We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower. Even in rest, even in sleep, you remain connected to all of humanity through the bonds of shared existence and mutual dependence. Let this ancient wisdom guide you toward peaceful rest, knowing that tomorrow will bring new opportunities to practice justice through countless small choices that create the world we all share. Chapter 9. The art of resilience, building unshakable inner strength. In this sacred space between wakefulness and sleep, as your consciousness gently releases its grip on the day's concerns, we turn to one of Stoicism's greatest gifts, the art of building resilience that no external force can shake. The ancient philosophers discovered that true strength comes not from avoiding difficulties, but from developing the capacity to meet them with grace. Marcus Aurelius, writing during a plague that devastated the Roman Empire, found this profound truth. The mind that anxiously cries, "I will not be disappointed," is the mind that courts disappointment. For nothing can happen to a man that is not a natural event appropriate to his state. Picture the emperor managing an empire in crisis, disease, war, and political upheaval surrounding him on all sides. Yet in his private moments, he cultivated the understanding that every challenge was an opportunity to practice virtue, every setback a chance to demonstrate resilience, every loss an invitation to discover what could never be taken away. As you settle deeper into the safety of this peaceful moment, consider the Stoic teaching that resilience is not about becoming hard or emotionless, but about developing flexibility, like a reed that bends in the storm but doesn't break. Your sensitivity, your capacity to feel deeply, your ability to care, these are not weaknesses to overcome, but strengths to protect through wisdom. Seneca, who survived exile, political persecution, and personal loss, offers this gentle strength. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The difficulties you face today, the setbacks that challenged your peace, even the fears that may still whisper in quiet moments, all of these are temporary visitors in the house of your consciousness, not permanent residents. The Stoics discovered that resilience grows through practice, like a muscle that strengthens with exercise. Each time you choose patience over anger, acceptance over resistance, hope over despair, you build capacity for meeting life's next challenge with greater wisdom and grace. Epictetus, whose own life embodied resilience, born into slavery, disabled, yet becoming one of history's greatest teachers of freedom, reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your power lies not in controlling events, but in choosing your response to them. As the night deepens and your breathing becomes more gentle, practice this ancient understanding. Resilience is not about being strong enough to carry any burden, but about being wise enough to know what to carry and what to set down. You don't need to solve every problem tonight, fix every relationship, or plan for every contingency. You only need to rest well so tomorrow's choices can emerge from peace rather than anxiety. Marcus Aurelius writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The stock market's fluctuations, other people's opinions, the weather, the past, the future, all beyond your ultimate control. But your thoughts about these things, your attitude toward them, your choice to find meaning in whatever comes, this remains entirely within your power." The Stoics taught that every adversity contains a hidden gift, the opportunity to discover strength you didn't know you possessed, to practice virtues that can only be developed under pressure, to connect with others who share similar struggles, to develop compassion born from understanding suffering. Seneca offers this beautiful perspective. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Just as physical exercise creates stress that builds muscle, life's challenges create the conditions necessary for developing character. Your struggles are not punishments but training, not obstacles but opportunities. Tonight, as you prepare for the renewal that sleep brings, practice the Stoic art of reframing difficulty. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this here to teach me?" Instead of resisting what cannot be changed, look for ways to grow within the situation you cannot control. The ancient philosophers discovered that resilience has many faces. Sometimes it looks like courage in action, sometimes like patience in waiting, sometimes like flexibility in adapting, sometimes like faith in trusting. Tonight, it looks like the wisdom to rest completely, knowing that tomorrow's challenges will find you refreshed and ready. Epictetus teaches, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." This applies not just to good times but to difficult ones. Even your struggles have contributed something valuable to your character, your wisdom, your capacity for compassion. They have made you more human, more understanding, more real. As your consciousness begins its gentle journey towards sleep, carry this ancient truth. Resilience is not about becoming invulnerable, but about remaining open to learning, open to growing, open to finding meaning in whatever life brings. The heart that can break can also heal. The mind that can worry can also hope. The spirit that can despair can also soar. Marcus Aurelius whispers across time, confine yourself to the present. Right now, in this moment, you have everything you need to be at peace. The problems that challenge you exist primarily in thoughts about past and future. This present moment, with its gift of breath, safety, and rest, is a sanctuary that no external storm can touch. Let this understanding cradle you now as you drift towards sleep. Resilience is not your destination, but your traveling companion, growing stronger with each step of the journey, ready to support you through whatever terrain tomorrow may bring. Chapter 10. The Serenity of Wisdom. Living in accordance with nature. As this peaceful evening draws you deeper into its gentle embrace, and your mind begins to release its hold on the complexities of daily life, we arrive at the heart of Stoic wisdom, living in accordance with nature. But this is not about wilderness retreats or simple living. It's about aligning your life with your deepest nature as a rational, social, mortal being. Marcus Aurelius, observing the natural world from his palace gardens, wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change the things which are." Picture the emperor watching seasons turn, flowers bloom and fade, rivers flow toward the sea, and finding in these natural rhythms a template for human wisdom. Nature never hurries, yet accomplishes everything perfectly. It accepts change without resistance, grows without forcing, rests without guilt. As your breathing naturally slows and your body settles into perfect rest, consider how you might embody these same principles. Your need for sleep is not a weakness, but natural wisdom. Your capacity for both work and rest, effort and ease, engagement and solitude, all reflect the rhythmic nature of existence itself. Seneca, who divided his time between the busy politics of Rome and the quiet reflection of his gardens, understood this balance. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. The ancient philosophers discovered that forcing outcomes often prevents them, while allowing natural processes to unfold often brings surprising results. The Stoics taught that humans have a unique nature among creatures. We are rational beings, capable of virtue, social beings designed for community, and mortal beings who find meaning in our temporary existence. Living according to nature means honoring all three aspects rather than fighting against them. Epictetus, who understood constraint and freedom better than most, reminds us, no one can hurt you without your permission. Your essential nature, your capacity for reason, love, and virtue, remains untouchable, regardless of external circumstances. This is the foundation of all Stoic serenity. As the night deepens around you, practice this ancient exercise. Imagine yourself as part of the vast web of existence, connected to every other being through the bonds of shared mortality and mutual dependence. Your individual life is like a single note in an infinite symphony, unique and necessary, yet part of something immeasurably larger. Marcus Aurelius writes, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." The serenity of wisdom comes from accepting the parts of life that change, circumstances, relationships, your own body and emotions, while resting in what remains constant, your capacity to choose virtue regardless of conditions. The Stoics discovered that peace comes not from achieving perfect circumstances, but from perfect acceptance of imperfect circumstances. This doesn't mean passive resignation, but active engagement with reality, as it is rather than as you wish it were. Seneca offers this gentle guidance. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Natural living means responding to actual situations rather than imaginary problems, dealing with today's real challenges rather than tomorrow's hypothetical ones. Tonight, as you prepare to surrender consciousness to sleep's restorative process, notice how naturally your body knows what to do. Your heart beats without instruction. Your lungs breathe without effort. Your cells repair and renew while you rest. This automatic wisdom reflects the deeper intelligence that governs all of existence. The ancient philosophers taught that human wisdom involves aligning conscious choice with this natural intelligence. When you choose courage, you're following your nature as a being capable of virtue. When you practice compassion, you honor your nature as a social creature. When you accept mortality, you embrace your nature as a temporary expression of eternal life. Epictetus reminds us, wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants. Living according to nature means distinguishing between genuine needs and artificial desires, finding satisfaction in what promotes your flourishing, rather than what merely stimulates your appetite. As your consciousness begins its gentle drift towards sleep, practice this Stoic understanding. You are not separate from nature, but an expression of it. Your capacity for reason is nature thinking through you. Your ability to love is nature caring through you. Your wisdom is nature learning through you. Marcus Aurelius offers this final comfort. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I have to go to work," as a human being. But tonight, tell yourself, "I have completed another day as a human being. I have used my reason, exercised my capacity for virtue, and contributed to the common good. Now I can rest, trusting nature's wisdom to restore me for tomorrow's opportunities." The Stoics discovered that serenity comes from this fundamental trust. Not that everything will go as you prefer, but that you have the resources to meet whatever comes with dignity and grace. Your rational mind, your capacity for virtue, your connection to the larger whole, these gifts of your nature provide everything necessary for a meaningful life. Let this ancient wisdom guide you now toward peaceful rest. You are a temporary expression of eternal nature, perfectly equipped for your role in the cosmic drama, worthy of rest after each day's performance, ready for tomorrow's opportunities to embody wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Sleep peacefully now, knowing that in surrendering to rest, you're following the same natural rhythms that govern stars and seasons, trusting the same intelligence that beats your heart and renews your cells. Chapter 11. The Freedom of Acceptance. Releasing the need to control. In this sanctuary of approaching sleep, as your body releases its hold on the day's tensions and your mind begins to quiet its endless commentary, we explore perhaps the most liberating of all Stoic teachings, the freedom that comes from accepting what lies beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius, who commanded the most powerful military force in the ancient world, yet understood the limits of all earthly power, wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate associates you." Picture the emperor in his tent on the frontier, unable to control the barbarian invasions, the plague sweeping through his cities, or the betrayals of trusted advisors, yet finding profound peace in focusing entirely on what remained within his power, his response to each situation, his choice to meet challenges with virtue rather than vice. As you settle deeper into the comfort of this moment, consider how much energy you may have spent today trying to control what cannot be controlled. Other people's moods, the weather, traffic patterns, the past, the future, the thoughts and feelings of others. The Stoics discovered that this struggle against reality is the source of most human suffering. Seneca, who lost fortunes and regained them, who was exiled and recalled, who navigated the dangerous waters of imperial politics, found this truth. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The things you cannot control gain power over your peace only when you insist they should be different than they are. Epictetus, whose very name means acquired because he was once property, understood freedom better than those who had never lost it. No one can hurt you without your permission. True freedom has nothing to do with external circumstances and everything to do with internal choice. The choice to accept what is while focusing your energy on what you can actually influence. As the gentle darkness deepens around you and your breathing becomes more peaceful, practice this ancient exercise. Mentally review your day and identify which concerns belong in the category of things I can control and which belong in things I cannot control. Notice how releasing your grip on the second category immediately brings relief. The weather that affected your plans, the colleague who didn't respond as you hoped, the news that disturbed your peace, the aging of your body, the passage of time itself, all beyond your ultimate control. But your response to these realities, your choice to find meaning within whatever circumstances arise, your decision to maintain virtue regardless of external conditions, these remain entirely within your power. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The strength he speaks of is not the power to force outcomes, but the power to remain peaceful regardless of outcomes, to maintain your essential nature no matter what external pressures arise. The Stoics discovered that acceptance is not passive resignation, but active choice. The choice to work with reality rather than against it, to build on what is rather than lamenting what isn't, to find opportunities within constraints rather than exhausting yourself fighting constraints. Seneca offers this liberating insight. The willing, destiny guides them. The unwilling, destiny drags them. You will experience whatever life brings, aging, loss, change, uncertainty, but you can choose to dance with these realities rather than being dragged through them, kicking and screaming. Tonight, as you prepare to surrender control completely in the natural process of sleep, notice how easily you can release your grip on consciousness itself. Your body knows how to rest without your management. Your mind knows how to dream without your direction. Your cells know how to repair and renew without your supervision. This surrender to natural processes mirrors the larger acceptance that brings peace to waking life. The ancient philosophers taught that freedom comes not from getting what you want, but from wanting what you get. Not in a spirit of defeated resignation, but in recognition that reality is the raw material from which meaning and virtue are created. Epictetus teaches, don't seek to have events happen as you want them as they happen, and you will do well. This isn't about becoming passive, but about becoming realistic, working wholeheartedly on what you can influence while accepting gracefully what you cannot change. As your consciousness begins its gentle journey towards sleep, carry this understanding. The peace you're feeling now comes partly from temporarily releasing your attempts to control, manage, and direct your experience. Sleep teaches the daily lesson of acceptance, that profound rest comes from letting go. Marcus Aurelius whispers across time, confine yourself to the present. This moment needs nothing added to be complete. This breath doesn't need to be deeper. This position doesn't need to be adjusted. This level of comfort doesn't need to be improved. Acceptance finds perfection in what is. The Stoics discovered that the attempt to control outcomes often prevents the very outcomes we desire, while accepting what comes often allows better outcomes to emerge naturally. The tight fist cannot receive gifts. The mind that demands specific results often misses better possibilities. Tonight, practice the ultimate freedom, the freedom to want nothing more than what this moment offers. Your breathing, your rest, your gradual transition into sleep require no improvement, no addition, no management. They are perfect expressions of natural wisdom unfolding exactly as they should. Let this ancient understanding cradle you now. Acceptance is not defeat, but victory. Victory over the endless struggle to make reality conform to preference. Victory over the exhausting effort to control what cannot be controlled. Victory in the discovery that peace was always available through the simple choice to embrace what is. Rest now in this freedom, knowing that tomorrow's challenges will find you refreshed and ready to practice the same acceptance that brings peace, regardless of circumstances. Chapter 12. The Wisdom of Mortality. Finding Peace in Life's Brevity. As this peaceful evening cradles you in its gentle embrace, and sleep begins to beckon with its promise of renewal, we turn to one of Stoicism's most profound and comforting teachings, the wisdom that comes from accepting our mortality. Far from being morbid, this reflection brings deep peace and clarity about what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, who understood that even emperors are temporary visitors in this world, wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Tonight, as you rest in the safety of this moment, consider how awareness of life's brevity illuminates its precious beauty. Picture the philosopher emperor in his study, perhaps on the eve of battle, writing by flickering candlelight about the temporary nature of all things, empires, bodies, even his own reign. In confronting mortality directly, he found not terror, but profound gratitude for each day's gift of consciousness and choice. The Stoics discovered that remembering death is not about dwelling on endings, but about appreciating beginnings. Each sunrise, each conversation, each breath becomes infinitely more precious when viewed against the backdrop of life's finite nature. As your own breathing slows into sleep's gentle rhythm, feel the miracle of this simple act that sustains your temporary existence. Seneca, who lived each day knowing it might be his last during the dangerous political climate of imperial Rome, offers this gentle wisdom: let us examine ourselves and rid ourselves of the faults we have acquired. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The ancient philosophers practiced a daily reflection called memento mori. Remember you must die. But this wasn't meant to create fear or sadness. Instead, it clarified priorities with startling precision. The petty resentments, the endless worries about status and possessions, the postponed expressions of love, all revealed themselves as distractions from what truly matters. As the night deepens around you and your body settles into complete rest, consider this liberating truth. Since your time here is limited, you are free to spend it on what brings genuine meaning rather than what merely appears important. The opinions of others, the accumulation of possessions, the pursuit of recognition, all fade in significance when measured against mortality's clarifying perspective. Epictetus, who faced his own physical limitations daily, understood that death gives life its poignancy. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Every relationship you've cherished, every sunset you've witnessed, every moment of joy or discovery, These experiences remain real and valuable precisely because they cannot last forever. The Stoics taught that fearing death is like fearing the time before you were born. Both represent states of non-existence that you won't experience as suffering because you won't exist to experience them. What we actually fear is often not death itself, but the process of dying or leaving loved ones or unfinished business. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Death smiles at us all, but all a man can do is smile back." This isn't grim acceptance, but peaceful recognition. Death is as natural as birth, as inevitable as the sunset that follows each dawn. Fighting this reality creates suffering, while accepting it brings the peace of alignment with nature's deepest laws. Tonight, as you prepare to practice the small death of sleep, notice how easily you can surrender consciousness when the time feels right. Sleep teaches us that letting go can be peaceful, that temporary dissolution of awareness is not loss, but renewal, that what feels like ending often becomes beginning. The ancient philosophers found that contemplating mortality enhanced rather than diminished life's pleasures. The meal tastes richer when you remember this body won't eat forever. The conversation becomes more precious when you recall that words between loved ones are numbered. The ordinary day reveals itself as extraordinary when viewed as one of a limited collection. Seneca writes, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The gift of remembering mortality is the gift of presence, the ability to fully inhabit each moment rather than rushing through life towards some imagined future destination. As your consciousness begins its gentle drift towards sleep, practice this Stoic meditation. Imagine yourself near the end of life, looking back on this very day. What would that future self want you to know about what matters? What would seem important from that perspective? What would feel like time well spent? The ancient philosophers discovered that mortality is not life's tragic flaw, but its essential feature, the thing that gives urgency to love, meaning to choice, and poignancy to every fleeting moment. Without endings, beginnings would have no significance. Without death, life would have no borders to define its shape. Epictetus offers this final comfort. We are actors in a play, which is as the author wants it to be. If short, then short. If long, then long. If he wants you to play a poor man, play even that role skillfully. And similarly, if a cripple, or a public official, or a private citizen. Your role in life's drama has a beginning, middle, and end. You didn't choose its length, or all its circumstances, but you can choose to play it with virtue, courage, love, and wisdom. Tonight, as you rest between scenes, you can find peace, knowing that whatever time remains, you have the tools to live it well. Let this ancient understanding cradle you now. Mortality is not your enemy, but your teacher, showing you what deserves your attention, your love, your precious and limited time. In accepting life's temporary nature, you find the peace that transcends time itself. Rest peacefully, knowing that this day was a gift you received fully, and tomorrow, if it comes, will be another opportunity to live with the clarity and gratitude that come from remembering how precious and brief this existence truly is. Chapter 13. The practice of evening reflection. Learning from the day's journey. As the gentle quiet of evening settles around you and your mind begins to release its grip on the day's activities, we turn to one of the most practical and peaceful of all Stoic practices, the evening examination. This isn't about judgment or regret, but about harvesting wisdom from experience and preparing for rest with a clear conscience. Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius about this daily practice. When the light has been removed, and my wife has fallen silent, and the whole house has become quiet, I examine the whole day and go over what I've done and said. hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. Picture the wealthy philosopher in his villa, the day's obligations complete, turning inward with gentle curiosity about his own thoughts and actions. This wasn't harsh self-criticism, but loving self-examination, the kind of attention a good friend might offer, honest yet compassionate. As you settle deeper into comfort and your breathing naturally slows, practice this ancient art of gentle review, not to judge yourself harshly for perceived failures, but to notice patterns, celebrate growth, and set intentions for tomorrow with the wisdom that today's experiences have provided. Marcus Aurelius, writing in his private journal by candlelight, reminds us how much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself. Evening reflection focuses not on others' behavior, but on your own responses, the only aspect of any situation that truly belonged to your choice. The Stoics discovered that unexamined experience teaches little, while reflected upon experience becomes wisdom. Today's challenges, conversations, and choices all contain lessons that can guide tomorrow's decisions if you take time to notice what they revealed about yourself and the world. What moments today brought you peace? When did you act from your best self? What triggered impatience or anxiety, and how might you respond differently next time? These questions aren't meant to create guilt, but to develop the self-knowledge that leads to growth. Epictetus, who understood better than most the difference between what we can and cannot control, teaches, every art and every inquiry, and similarly, every action and pursuit, is thought to aim at some good. Even your mistakes today aimed at some good, perhaps misguided attempts to feel secure, loved, or valuable. Understanding these deeper motivations brings compassion for your own humanity. As the night deepens and your body releases the day's tensions, practice this Stoic exercise. Review today's events like a loving teacher examining a student's work. Notice what went well with genuine appreciation. Observe what could improve with gentle curiosity, rather than harsh judgment. Perhaps you lost patience in traffic. What was underneath that reaction? Maybe fear of being late, which connects to a desire to be responsible and respected. Perhaps you felt generous with a colleague. What motivated that kindness? Possibly the recognition that we all struggle and deserve support. Seneca continues his description of evening reflection. I make use of this privilege, and daily plead my case before myself. When the lamp is taken away, I examine the whole day and measure my deeds and words, hiding nothing from myself and omitting nothing. But notice that he pleads his case, not condemning himself, but understanding the circumstances and motivations behind his choices. This is reflection as self-compassion, rather than self-attack. The ancient philosophers found that evening reflection created a natural completion to each day, allowing peaceful rest because all experience had been acknowledged and processed. Nothing remains undigested in consciousness to disturb sleep's restoration. Marcus Aurelius writes, "Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and round it the seething waters are laid to rest. Your evening reflection helps you identify the rocky headland of your essential nature, the values and character that remain steady regardless of the day's waves. Today you faced various challenges and opportunities. Some you met with wisdom, others perhaps with less skill. All contributed to your growth as a human being, learning to navigate existence with increasing grace and understanding. As your consciousness prepares for its nightly journey into rest, practice this gentle gratitude for the day's teaching. Even difficult moments served your development. Mistakes revealed areas for growth. Successes confirmed your capacity for virtue. Ordinary moments provided opportunities to practice presence and contentment. Epictetus reminds us, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Evening reflection helps you see where your actions aligned with your values and where gaps remain between who you want to be and how you actually behaved. But this examination occurs in the spirit of love, not judgment. You are a human being learning to be human, practicing the ancient arts of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline in a world that often challenges all four virtues. The Stoics discovered that the examined life naturally becomes more virtuous, not through harsh self-criticism, but through gentle awareness. When you notice your patterns with compassion, change begins to occur organically. Tonight, as you complete this daily practice of reflection, feel the satisfaction that comes from conscious living, from paying attention to your choices, learning from your experience, and setting intentions for continued growth. Seneca offers this final wisdom: I put my troubles to sleep by forgiving myself for them. Let any regrets from today dissolve into learning. Let any pride transform into gratitude. Let any worries about tomorrow rest in trust that you'll meet whatever comes with the wisdom you've gained from countless days of practice. Rest now with the peace that comes from a day consciously lived, examined with love, and released with forgiveness. Chapter 14. The Strength of Simplicity, Finding Richness in Less. As you settle into the profound simplicity of this peaceful moment, with nothing required of you but rest, we explore one of Stoicism's most practical teachings, the strength that comes from choosing simplicity over complexity, essence over appearance, being over having. Marcus Aurelius, despite commanding unlimited wealth and luxury as Emperor of Rome, wrote these words in his private reflections: "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Picture the most powerful man in the ancient world, surrounded by golden treasures and marble palaces, yet finding his deepest contentment not in possessions, but in simple thoughts of gratitude, virtue, and acceptance. Tonight, as you rest with nothing but breath and consciousness, you possess the same essential ingredients for happiness that he discovered. The Stoics understood that simplicity is not about deprivation, but about clarity, seeing clearly what enhances life and what merely complicates it. As your breathing becomes more gentle and your mind releases its grip on the day's complexities, consider how much peace can be found in this most basic activity, simply existing in the present moment. Seneca, who accumulated vast wealth, yet wrote beautifully about its limitations, discovered this truth. Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants. The ancient philosophers learned that every addition to your external life requires maintenance, attention, and energy that could be spent on inner development. The mansion needs cleaning, the investments need monitoring, the possessions need protecting, but peace, wisdom, and virtue require only cultivation of what you already possess, your capacity for choice. As the night deepens around you, notice the profound simplicity of this moment. You need nothing more than what you have right now to experience complete peace. Your breath flows freely without effort. Your body rests without struggle. Your consciousness experiences without striving. This is abundance in its purest form. Epictetus, who owned virtually nothing, yet taught the wealthiest Romans about freedom, reminds us, don't seek to have events happen as you want them as they happen, and you will do well. Simplicity begins with this fundamental shift, from trying to acquire more to appreciating what is. The Stoics practiced voluntary simplicity, not as asceticism, but as focusing on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius could have spent his time cataloguing his possessions, but instead he catalogued his thoughts. He could have focused on accumulating more territory for Rome, but he focused on understanding his own nature. Tonight, as you prepare for the ultimate simplicity of sleep, practice this ancient exercise. Imagine yourself with only the essentials for happiness: your capacity for reason, your ability to choose virtue, your connections to others, your appreciation for beauty. Notice that nothing else is actually necessary for a meaningful life. The complications that filled your day, the endless decisions about purchases, the concerns about status and appearance, the worry about having enough, all fade into insignificance when measured against life's true treasures: love given and received, moments of beauty witnessed, growth in wisdom and character. Seneca writes, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Poverty is not about circumstances, but about perspective. The feeling that what you have is insufficient, that happiness requires some addition to your current situation. As your consciousness begins its gentle drift toward rest, consider how the simplest pleasures often bring the deepest satisfaction: the taste of water when truly thirsty, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the sound of laughter shared with loved ones, the relief of rest after effort. These experiences cost nothing, yet provide everything. The ancient Stoics discovered that simplicity creates space: mental space for reflection, emotional space for peace, spiritual space for growth. When your external life is uncluttered, your inner life can flourish. When your wants are few, your capacity for gratitude expands. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, confine yourself to the present. The present moment is inherently simple: just this breath, this heartbeat, this gentle awareness. It's only when you add layers of past and future, comparison and judgment, desire and aversion, that life becomes complicated. Tonight, practice the radical simplicity of being present without agenda. You don't need to solve problems, plan futures, or improve anything. You only need to rest in the basic experience of conscious existence, the most miraculous and simple gift in the known universe. The Stoics learned that external simplicity supports internal clarity, but internal simplicity can flourish regardless of external circumstances. You can find peace in a palace or a prison cell, because peace lives in the choice to want nothing more than what each moment offers. Epictetus teaches, "Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants." As you drift towards sleep, practice wanting nothing more than this gentle transition into rest. No improvement to your position, no addition to your comfort, no enhancement to your experience, just simple acceptance of what is. Let this ancient wisdom guide you toward peaceful rest. Simplicity is not about having less, but about being more present, more grateful, more aware of the abundance that was always here, waiting for your recognition. In choosing simplicity, you choose freedom from the endless pursuit of more, and in that freedom, you discover that you already have everything necessary for peace. Chapter 15, the final teaching, Rest as Wisdom. As we reach the culmination of our journey through ancient wisdom, and your consciousness prepares for its nightly voyage into the restorative depths of sleep, we arrive at perhaps the most fundamental Stoic teaching: that rest itself is a form of wisdom, and sleep a daily practice of trust in nature's rhythm. Marcus Aurelius, writing in the quiet hours before dawn when the empire still slept, understood this profound truth. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I have to go to work as a human being." But tonight, the reverse wisdom applies. You have completed your work as a human being today, and now you can rest in the satisfaction of duties fulfilled and consciousness honored. The Stoics discovered that sleep is not merely biological necessity, but spiritual practice. A daily exercise in letting go, in trusting processes beyond your control, in surrendering the illusion of constant vigilance. As your breathing deepens and your body releases its hold on tension, you participate in the same cosmic rhythm that governs stars and seasons. Picture the ancient philosophers in their final moments of each day, setting aside their scrolls and extinguishing their lamps, understanding that wisdom includes knowing when to think and when to rest, when to act and when to surrender to nature's restorative power. Seneca, reflecting on the day's end, wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Tonight, as this day transforms into memory and tomorrow waits in potential, you exist in the sacred space between, the eternal present, where all healing and renewal occur. The Stoics taught that sleep is a form of temporary death, practicing daily the ultimate surrender that life will eventually require. But this practice brings not fear, but peace, the peace of understanding that consciousness, like everything in nature, follows cycles of activity and rest, engagement and release. As the gentle darkness deepens around you and your mind begins to quiet its endless commentary, notice how easily you can trust your body's wisdom. Your heart continues beating without your management. Your lungs breathe without your direction. Your cells repair and renew while you rest. This automatic intelligence reflects the same wisdom that governs all existence. Epictetus, who understood suffering and healing better than most, reminds us, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." Today happened. You experienced another complete revolution of the earth, another passage of consciousness through time, another opportunity to practice the ancient virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. The Stoics discovered that the quality of sleep often reflects the quality of the day's living. When you've acted with virtue, spoken with truth, and treated others with kindness, rest comes easily. When you've lived in alignment with your deepest values, consciousness can surrender peacefully to renewal. Tonight, as you practice this most fundamental form of letting go, carry with you all the wisdom we've explored together, the acceptance of what cannot be controlled, the gratitude for what is, the courage to face what comes, the justice of living in harmony with others, the strength that comes from virtue rather than circumstances. Marcus Aurelius offers this final comfort. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I won't be surprised or disturbed, for I can't imagine a world without such people." But tonight, you can rest, knowing that tomorrow's challenges will find you restored and ready, equipped with the accumulated wisdom of countless generations who faced similar struggles and discovered peace. The ancient Stoics understood that each day of conscious living adds to the sum of human wisdom, that each choice for virtue contributes to the world's healing, that each moment of peace creates ripples that extend far beyond individual awareness. As your consciousness begins its gentle journey toward the renewal that sleep provides, feel the profound satisfaction that comes from a day lived with awareness, examined with compassion, and released with trust in the larger wisdom that governs all existence. Your breathing slows to its natural rhythm. Your body settles into perfect rest. Your mind releases its grip on the day's concerns. And somewhere in this gentle letting go, you join the eternal cycle of rest and renewal that has cradled humanity since consciousness first gazed up at stars and wondered about its place in the vast mystery of existence. Let the voices of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus sing you towards sleep with their gentle wisdom, that peace is always available through acceptance, that strength comes from virtue rather than circumstances, that every moment contains the possibility of choosing love over fear, wisdom over ignorance, hope over despair. Sleep now, ancient soul, knowing that in your rest you practice the deepest teaching of all. the trust that consciousness can safely surrender to the rhythms that sustain all life, confident that tomorrow's dawn will bring new opportunities to embody the timeless wisdom that has guided seekers for over 2,000 years. The stars that shone on Marcus Aurelius as he wrote his meditations shine on you tonight. The same moon that witnessed Seneca's evening reflections witnesses your peaceful rest. The same eternal now that brought peace to Epictetus cradles your consciousness as it drifts toward the healing darkness of sleep. Rest in this ancient wisdom. Rest in this timeless peace. Rest in the knowledge that you are part of something infinitely larger than yourself, yet perfectly expressed through your individual journey toward wisdom, virtue, and peace. Good night, fellow traveler on the path of ancient wisdom. May your sleep be deep, your dreams be peaceful, and your tomorrow be filled with opportunities to practice the gentle strength that the Stoics discovered and shared across the centuries. As our journey through 2 millennia of Stoic wisdom draws to its gentle close, and sleep beckons with its promise of restoration and renewal, let us rest for a moment in quiet gratitude for the ancient voices that have accompanied us through this peaceful evening. Marcus Aurelius, writing by candlelight in his tent on the frontier, could not have imagined that his private thoughts would comfort and guide seekers centuries later. Seneca, composing letters to his friend Lucilius, never dreamed his words would cross oceans of time to bring peace to minds he would never meet. Epictetus, teaching in his simple school, could not have foreseen how his insights about freedom would liberate countless souls from prisons of their own making. Tonight, you have walked in the footsteps of emperors and slaves, philosophers and ordinary people, all united by the timeless human search for peace, meaning, and wisdom. The challenges they faced, loss, uncertainty, difficult relationships, the struggle to live with virtue in an imperfect world, are the same challenges that brought you to this moment of seeking. Their discoveries become your inheritance. That peace comes from accepting what cannot be changed while focusing energy on what lies within your power. That happiness flows not from external circumstances, but from internal choices. That strength emerges not from avoiding difficulty, but from meeting it with grace. That wisdom grows through daily practice of virtue, one choice at a time. As your breathing settles into sleep's gentle rhythm and your consciousness prepares for its nightly journey inward, carry with you this ancient understanding. You possess everything necessary for a meaningful life. Not in your possessions or achievements, but in your capacity for reason, love, and virtue. Not in controlling outcomes, but in choosing wise responses. Not in perfecting circumstances, but in finding peace within whatever circumstances arise. The Stoic path is not about becoming invulnerable or emotionless, but about developing the flexibility to bend with life's storms without breaking, the wisdom to distinguish between what deserves your energy and what can be peacefully released, the courage to remain true to your values regardless of external pressure. Tomorrow will bring its own mixture of joy and challenge, opportunity and obstacle. But you will meet it with the accumulated wisdom of ages, the practical tools that have guided humanity through every conceivable difficulty, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that whatever happens, you have the resources to respond with dignity and grace. Let sleep come now as naturally as breath, as gently as the turning of seasons, as peacefully as the setting of the sun that has witnessed countless generations discover the same timeless truths that have comforted you tonight. Rest in the knowledge that in seeking wisdom, you join an eternal conversation between seekers across time. In practicing virtue, you contribute to the sum of goodness in the world. In choosing peace, you become part of the solution to humanity's ancient struggle with suffering. The gentle darkness welcomes you now, carrying the voices of Marcus Aurelius, whispering about acceptance, Seneca speaking of gratitude, Epictetus teaching freedom through understanding. Their wisdom becomes your companion as consciousness fades into the healing mystery of sleep. Sleep deeply, knowing that wisdom is not a destination, but a journey, not a possession, but a practice, not an achievement, but a way of being that grows more natural with each conscious choice. Good night, student of ancient wisdom. May you rest in peace, wake in strength, and live each day with the quiet confidence that comes from understanding what truly matters in this brief, beautiful, and utterly sacred experience we call human life. Sweet dreams, gentle soul. The wisdom of ages cradles you toward rest,